Well, it's a pleasure having you on our set, Mr. Young Parry. Let's start off with Young Parry as Melando Padilla, so to say. You're a mixed breed of Paris and African descent. Tell us about your upbringing.
My father co-founded the National Ballet of Congo, so he was a big dancer in Africa. And my mother was a dancer in New York. She was invited to be in his ballet. And you know, the French word for ballet is just dance troupe. So in this time, you know, my mother was a great dancer. She was young and sexy, and my father had a crush on her. So they met in Paris, fell in love, and eventually raised 10 children. So I was born in Paris, raised in New York by way of Congo. So my father being Congolese, my mother being American. And you know, I come from a family of creatives. You know, very much driven by art, music, fashion, and celebrating Africa. So, you know, in our household, you can imagine, for my father being a dancer, my mother being a playwright, it was a very creative kind of house. And we just learned a lot about different cultures and different upbringings. Also, being in Paris, being in New York and Africa, just having these three lenses of life. And you know, I'm privileged to say that my parents were very much involved with my life and growing up, and were very much in love with each other. So a lot of love in the household, you know.
That's amazing. How about your kids, your siblings?
Yeah, so they're great. We're all still music, art, fashion. Yeah, we're all creatives. And till this day, my siblings are my best friends. So it really just reminds you that the love goes a long way when it's rich and it's pure, and like, you know, we sacrifice for each other as a family. So
it's quite interesting. This is a brand of yours that a lot of people are talking about on social media, Melanin. Tell us a little about it.
Yeah, so Melanin started with the hashtag called Melanin Monday. And the theme around Melanin Monday, which started 2 years ago, was every Monday we wanted people of color to hashtag their beauty. And as you may know, or just growing up in the States, people of darker descent tend to be, you know, deal with more struggles just in life generally, because being black was a very was frowned upon. So being a dark-skinned man, you know, that celebrates my skin and my culture. I wanted to spark a conversation around melanin because it's such an incredible topic, and it's essentially a science. But you know, I wanted to create something where people can consume it. So we started this hashtag where people are like, "Yo, you know, I got melanin, and we all have melanin," and it went viral. And since then, melanin has become a big term known by most people. So, you know, through this hashtag, it really was a playful way where people can celebrate themselves. But since then, we created a brand that's actually built on, you know, the beauty and the excellence of people of color. So now, like, you know, we'll be doing festivals, we'll be doing conferences, talks, and really building conversations around the subject of melanin, which is essentially a science. So, you know, just also using my platform to raise awareness and teach people a little bit more about their culture, or who they are, and accepting their self-esteem, you know.
It's quite interesting too. That's quite. You signed on with Jay-Z on Jay-Z's record label. What's that? What does it feel like?
It's cool, man. You know, it's cool, man. It's, you know, this is a big win for Africa, and I think it's been a year and a half I've been with them now, and you know, doing Afrobeats music in the States is a little challenging because it's not a big market for it. But when you got guys like Wizkid and Davido who are winning, it's making us all look good. So shout out to those guys, man. They're really opening a lot of doors for artists and building the market. But yeah, I'm with Roc Nation. It's you know, they run the label like a family, so they're very supportive, and I'm also allowed to kind of do whatever I want, and they just believe in my vision. So it's cool, man. I mean, it's a great association, but I'm definitely a hustler, so I'm out here doing what I got to do.
That's great. Why do you think there's a sudden rise of interest in Afrobeats, African-inspired music?
Because Africa's the future, man. Africa is everything. I think it's about time that people are really starting to look back and understand where the essence of life comes from. And, you know, God left all his gems here, and I think one of those is music. And Afrobeats is really just captivates a beautiful sound of like tradition, but it's also very fresh and new. And not to play on Afrobeat, which is you know, with the lineage of Fela, but Afrobeat is really like the young generation, you know, the young Africans, west, north, east, south, that are putting this new sound out, but still keeping the African flavor, you know. So I think you know, Afrobeat's a global sound, man. You don't even need to know the language or what they're saying, and you could just feel it, you know. And I think it's going to be the biggest genre of music, you know, of our generation.
Great. We'll get back to Afrobeat later. Let's talk about you. I mean, what do you listen to? What are your musical influences?
I listen to a lot of Afrobeats now, actually, but I grew up on a lot of African music. Afro Blondie, Fela Kuti, Salif Keita, also American music from Jay-Z to Kanye West to Pharrell. You know, so for me, it's really about the environment that I'm in, I'm inspired by. I like all music, but I'm really driven by mostly American music and African music. But yeah, for the most part, I'm a big Fela fan, and a lot of people think because the maquillage is so shit.
Exactly. I was going to get to that. You know, a lot of people. I was read somewhere that you got inspiration from Fela.
Oh no. So in our culture and in the time when my family were. When the traditional ballet, this, you know, and when you see most African ballets, you see how they dress and they perform. Ballet just means dance troupe, and so this is actually a traditional marking from the dance troupe. So when my father, when they were creating the National Ballet, this was a way that they, you know, showcased their beauty, was by painting their faces, and they did different patterns, different meanings by the face of your shape or different colors. And the white was for spirit, when we lose ancestors or we start something new or something is destroyed. So I lost my father in 2012, and I kept wearing the white for him. So actually, it's really a play on carrying on tradition and also something beautiful. And you know, since then, you know, it's been, you know, seen on some of the biggest stars in the world, and people just embrace it. And I think it's just another way for people to embrace Africa. But I mean, big shout out to the Kuti family. I got to meet Femi the first day I came to Lagos. I went to the shrine. I got a lot of love. There's some pictures online you can see, but. You know, I'm definitely inspired by Fela. I'm definitely a huge Fela fan. But we also have our different traditions, you know.
How do you introduce your sound to someone who hasn't quite gotten into it? I mean, how do you develop your sound?
Yeah. My sound is like, I mean, overall I would say Afrobeats, but it's kind of like African vibes meets American vibes meets like some song play, some word play. And overall, just like feel good. Like when you listen to my music, it's either at a club or outdoors or in a car, or like really when you're trying to vibe with someone, or just, you know, bop your head to. I don't want to keep saying vibe, but it's definitely just a vibe, man. Yeah, but I mean, this particular project, the new album that I just dropped, is called My Tribe, and you know, usually I don't put too many features on my works, but I have a lot of features at this time, and several of them are actually Nigerian artists. But again, if you listen to the music, it's kind of a play on what really African music celebrates, which is like lifestyle and dance and women and culture and just having a good time, you know. Yeah.
Does your music have any social political undertones?
Yeah. I mean, I used to be a little bit more socially political. I have a song called Kake that's very like, you know, anti-government, all these things, and I still have the education. For me, it's just what side of the street I really want to be on. And there's times where I talk about things that are going on in the world. I think it's very important, and I think as artists we have the responsibility to talk about these subjects. But I don't want to make my work so overwhelming about social topics. But I'm definitely well aware that there's a lot of things to talk about. Actually, one thing I wanted to say, because I heard about this earlier, is that there's a big drug epidemic in Nigeria. I didn't know this. And there's a lot of drugs. You know, first of all, say no to drugs. We don't do drugs. It's not cool, man. And I'm just hearing that, like, some people are saying that they're inspired by Americans and doing the lean, all this type of thing, or like popping mollies. And some people are just saying, like, I mean, on the other token, I also understand that depression is a big subject. So I think when we look at drug addicts or people doing drugs, or these kids that want to do what they see on TV, like, we also need to look at, you know, if they're depressed, because a lot of these people feel like there's no way out, and the drug becomes like a gateway, you know. So I think there's a way to look at this, the problem and the solution.
That's interesting. Kind of like your outfit. What's your view about fashion?
I'm a big fashion guy, man. I'm glad you told me to switch up. But I'm a big fashion guy. You know, again, I'm Congolese, so naturally, we are sapeurs. Like, this is our thing. We like to dress well. You know, we like our women and we like our clothes, you know. And so it's naturally, like, I think in the blood for me to dress. But since I was young, I always liked fashion. I was actually going to be a fashion designer. And luckily, I had the privilege to work with a lot of big fashion houses in the States. And whether attending shows or becoming an ambassador, you know, they've kind of embraced and celebrated my image and like how I dress. And you know, today this is actually an African designer. I think she's Nigerian. She made this in New York for a video. But yeah, you know, I'm in Africa, so I wanted to wear some African print.
You did a collab with Tiwa Savage in the Best of Me remix. What's it like working with her?
Tiwa's great, man. She's the big sis, man. She's definitely the queen of Afrobeats, and she's so talented. Like when we first, because we both got signed to Roc Nation Management like around the same time, and immediately everyone's like, "Yo, you gotta work together." Boom, boom. And when we worked in the studio briefly, she's just so talented. Like, she came in there, and I think she did her verse. She probably freestyled her verse in like minutes, and then eventually she redid it. But just to see her level of talent and just ease at it is really interesting. And but she's great. I mean, she's very beautiful. She's very womanly. Like, she carries herself very well. But and I think all these young guys got a big crush on Tiwa now. But shout out to Tiwa Savage. The video's dope. It's called Best of Me. The remix is definitely out. We did that a little bit ago. But yeah, shout out to Tiwa, man.
It's quite amazing. Are you looking at doing any collab with other Nigerian artists?
Yeah, I got a lot. I was just in the studio last night with Scales and Dice Els. This kid Dice Els is the future. I've worked with Young L, with Soul J, with Ricardo Banks, with Dotman. So I've done a bunch of some dope shit. You know, I'm waiting for Wiz and Davido, but it's coming. And Olamide is really dope.
Oh,
yeah.
So the Nigerian fans could expect to really look out for that.
Yeah, Olamide is my guy. He's my guy.
Amazing. It's amazing. You call your fans your tribe. What's that?
Yeah, my tribe. So for me, it's more than fans. I think when you think about fans, you think of people that buy your records or they just support you. And like when you think about a tribe, it's more of a mission. It's more of a mindset, a mentality. And I think when we think about the tribe and the album that I released and the imagery around it, it's really kind of a celebration. And I think the mindset of our tribe is really about family and community and love. And you know, I want to be more inclusive with my tribe. I don't want to look at them as fans that just support me. I want to look at them like, I'm one of you. How can I learn from you? How can you learn from me? And you know, when I think about the tribe, you know, there's a leader, there's leaders, and there's those who embrace, there's those who celebrate the vision of the leadership. But I think in any sense, I see myself as a leader, you know, and I think I can lead a tribe, you know. So I think for those who want to follow me, more than following, we could just do this together, you know. So it's the tribe. We call ourselves the tribe. You know?
That's interesting. And your recent album, based on the album launch, is called My Tribe. What's behind that?
Yeah, so My Tribe, again, it kind of falls into that philosophy. So when we drop these visuals, you'll see a lot of it. You see more of the storytelling in the videos. But you know, again, with the music, I kind of, even with the collaborations, I got Trinidad James on there to throw some, you know, just to kind of show my range of sound, but also, you know, how far out the tribe goes. It's not just African, it's also African American. I got this Asian kid on there, Jay Park. I got Masha Montano, who does soca, just kind of showing the range of where the tribe goes. And it's like, you know, I think music is universal, and there's so many places that you can take it, so many areas that you can play with sound. And you know, I think that the idea of the tribe is really to lead a people into celebrating themselves more.
Interesting. Let me ask you this. I mean, do you think your music has reached its potential?
I think honestly, I kind of revamped into music now because I was doing fashion for a while. But you know, I think musically, I've definitely found the pocket of sound that I really want to start pushing. And I think with this album, you know, I have the confidence to really, you know, showcase, you know, and compete with the big boys. But I mean, it's gonna get way bigger. It's gonna get massive, man. I mean, once we really get these videos where we need them, and these other collaborations and working with these producers that I really want to work with, like this is where the sound becomes more top. But for now, I mean, I love the sound. I love the energy that we put behind it. There's a lot of love, a lot of celebration. We're working very hard. But you know, as an artist, we never stop, man. We just want to keep creating. So I think I have 5 more albums in me. Yeah.
You recently posted a photo on our Instagram referring to the One Africa Festival as One Nigeria. Why did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a lot of Africans, shout out to Paulo, shout out to all, you know, everyone that's doing One Africa, all the artists. I know a lot of these guys. And I think, again, this becomes a subject of just being a musician. And not to say I need to be on the bill or why am I not down. It's just, when we think about Africa and we say Africa's massive, and there's a lot of big talents who could pull incredible crowds. So, you know, that post was really to kind of challenge the conversation a little bit more and the diversity of the talents. Because, you know, obviously, you know, it's a lot of Nigerians, and like it was like a jab, but it's like at the same time, it's like, yo, we need more East Africans, we need more West Africans, we need more South Africans, and it's not just to say put any talent. It's just there's massive talents that so many people have never seen, and they got big hits that you know that everyone knows. So it's like, rather than finding like a few I don't want to disrespect any artists, but rather than finding a few soca artists or reggae artists, you know, let's really keep it about Africa and those who are really producing music out of Africa. And again, I just think there's massive talent, so there's no real excuse why we can't make the talents more diverse that are picked to perform One Africa. But I love the program. I'm probably going to perform there. I love to work with them. But we got to just make it a little bit more diverse, that's all.
Great. This tour that you've been on, you know, your next city is Congo Brazzaville, am I right? How did this tour come about?
Yeah, so it's you know, I was making this album, and during it I was like, yo, I was just so inspired by, you know, Africans really listening to the music. And I remember one of my guys, he kind of challenged me, and he said, bro, he's like, yo, but they got to know you in Africa. And I was like, man, I'm about to go to Africa. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm about to just go out there. And just like that, while we were maybe midway going through the album, I started talking to my team, and I'm like, listen, we got to be out there on the ground, and let's pick some cities. You know, we started with 15 cities, we're down to 15 countries, we're down to 8. And, you know, I really just wanted to come home and pay homage and show love to the platforms that have showed me support. So this is more of a media tour. We're really kind of doing more press and talking about the story and where I'm from and the album. But next time I'm around, we're going to do concerts. We're going to shut things down, for sure. Yeah. How's
it been like, you know, on this tour?
It's dope. I mean, we just did Abidjan. Lagos is the second city. Tomorrow I'm going back home to Brazzaville, which is going to be really dope. They're waiting for me. But it's really good, man. I mean, honestly, it's obviously work, so it's early mornings, a lot of interviews, a lot of press, but, you know, I'm always happy to sit down and talk about the story and to really showcase what I feel like I have to offer in the game. And I know that I won't be doing too much press in the future, so it's good to kind of let it all out now. But honestly, I just want to thank all the platforms who've shown me love. You know, a lot of you guys are just like, listen, tell them to come. We want to talk to him, we want to talk about him. And I'm just very happy that I'm being celebrated by my people back home, because I've celebrated Africa for so long.
It's quite amazing this way. Got a message for African artists, young upcoming artists?
Yeah, I think one message that I will say, and I've said this recently, is that if you ever decide to sign to a label, and I'm not going to be completely against signing to labels, even though I only have management, so I'm not signed to any label. But if you do sign to a label, don't put your expectations too high. Don't think that right because you sign, the world's going to turn for you. Everyone's going to work their ass off to make you the next superstar. You have to go do the work. Like, that signage is just a platform for you and a group of people who are going to help you bring your vision to the table. But you got to be willing to get up in the morning and work, do press, you know, do these performances, travel, and it's not for everyone, man. I mean, I could sit here and say, yeah, you can be anything you want to be, which is very true, but this game is not for everyone. And I think if you want to join and you want to play with and you want to be a part of this basically this competition, you just got to be ready to work. And if you will work, you're gonna get everything you can imagine. It'll all come to you in time, So for the young artists, man, just keep grinding, keep working, keep pushing, man, and eventually, like, the doors will open for you. Promise.
Let me put you on the spot a little bit. You want to give us a bit freestyle?
Bad ting got a ting for me. Brown skin wanna cling on me. She said she like the bling bling on me. She make me wanna put a ring on it. She never had it so deep. I tell her, don't tell me, show me. Baby, you're my walking trophy, yeah. Just call me.
Hey, that's a good one, man. Thanks a lot.
What's up, y'all? It's Young Paris. I'm here with Sahara Reporters, and we're representing every Team Africa, man. Big up, one love, man. That way. Cheese!